Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to the weekly Aligned as Fuck call. We are talking about grounded excitement versus excited energy and why this is so important. Guys, this is probably the number one thing that I see tripping up people, especially if they are coming from a background in manifestation or have done other manifestation work, because a lot of times people will basically be like, get excited. And you'll hear me say that too. But there's a caveat, and a really big caveat. And this is really, really, really important. So when we get overly excited, excitement and fear are almost identical in the body. When they're overly sensational, it is not meant to be a sustainable state. So when everybody's like, get excited about the things that you want, it's actually going to push you into like hyper arousal, and it's actually going to flag your brain and body to be like, wait a minute, there's a threat here. Now, I'm gonna set that down for a minute, and I'm gonna come back and pick it up in just a minute. The other thing that's really important is you'll hear me say, like, my whole thing is like, I have built a very successful business in doing attraction marketing. And that's normally not through content. That's something obviously that I am working on. But my attraction marketing is literally me being so in love with the work I do and doing the brain body alignment work to become magnetic, where literally people hire me on the street. This has happened in several countries where I've been walking down the street. I was actually in Colombia one time, was in a Starbucks. Somebody saw me working on something and said, hey, do you do manifestation work? We started talking about the type of manifestation work I do, and she hired me. I also ended up by meeting people in person in Colombia, also having 3 other clients that signed on with me. The other way that I get clients is, I think, talking about what I'm doing, sharing my client wins and testimonials, because I have so many. My clients get insane results. Sharing that, being obsessed with the offers that I have, and doing it in a way that does feel exciting. But I am very mindful about it. So I tend to be a pretty exciting person in general, meaning that I'm pretty high energy, I'm pretty high vibe, whatever that means. I don't mean high vibe in the sense of like I'm always like in a good mood. I just mean like generally I'm pretty on, right? That does not mean that when I check in with the things that I want, that it makes me feel excited and hyper. So let me break this down for you. So when you think about what you want, I always use 10K months just as a baseline, because a lot of my clients, that's something that they're looking like. I would say most people work with me one to one wanting to make 10 to 20K months. That's kind of where I'm at. Um, and when I do that, anyways, a lot of times I'll have you guys touch in with 10K just because that's just an example, but you do it with whatever number feels good for you and what you want. If you close your eyes and you think about that number, how does it feel in your body? Does it feel overly excited? Does it feel flighty? Does it feel like almost like anxious energy? If it does, you will not allow yourself to have it. You have to learn how to ground that energy, because here's the thing that most people in the manifestation community that have no understanding of how the brain body connection works, how the nervous system works, like that's why I have a neuroscience spec framework. They don't understand that when we are in hyper arousal, our brain and body actually perceive it as a threat. So here's what we do about it. Let's say it's 10K months and it feels really like flighty in your stomach and tight in your chest. That is not what we want the things that we want to feel like. We want the things that we're going after to feel like the most natural and normal things in the world. And I want you to think about this for just a moment. I want you to really think about this. What things do you consistently do in your life and or business or in relationships? It's another good one to look at, that are toxic, whatever that means for you. Like maybe it's dating a certain type of person, or never having any money, or not being able to hold money, or whatever. Like I don't want to project the word toxic, but you know what I mean. A pattern that doesn't serve you, a pattern that you maybe don't like. And then I want you to ask yourself, how much does that feeling, not the pattern, but the sensation in your body and the feeling that comes from that sensation, how much does that feel natural and normal? And I would willing to bet my right arm that it does, because that's the way our brain and bodies are wired, to seek out what feels natural and normal, because to our brain, what feels natural and normal is safe. That's why we see people repeating patterns like, for example, like in relationships and they're not in a healthy relationship, and maybe they leave that relationship but they get in another relationship with basically the same dynamic, because their brain is perceiving that what feels natural and normal, aka a toxic relationship, to be safe. The same with money. If you've never known how to hold money, if you've never known how to attract large amounts of money, it's not going to feel natural and normal, and your brain will flag it as not safe, and you will sabotage it. And this is just science. Like, we have the actual data on this, guys. Like, this is like super important, because there's a lot of people touting around in the manifestation world about feeling good and feeling excited are very different things. Like, get hyped up, let's get excited. And there's a place for that. And I'm going to tell you in just a minute where it is. But I want to get really, really clear on how you use this and why. So, number one, if you feel overly excited, overly anxious, overly sensational in your body with your money goal or any goal that you want, could even be love or a partner or whatever, you need to ground it into making it what we call grounded excitement. So, something like grounded excitement is going to be joy, childlike curiosity, and gratitude. Think about how that like feels in your body. I'm still excited. I still have this anything could happen, but it's grounded and it's not overly sensational where I'm almost going to shut down if I don't do something about it, right? We have to learn how to ground that energy. So when you tap into the money that you want, you should feel like it's the most natural and normal thing, and something like gratitude or unconditional love or joy or childlike curiosity should come in. Not, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I talk about this all the time of like the example of it feeling like Christmas, a kid on Christmas. Like, if you want 10K months and I say I'm gonna hand you $10,000 and you're sitting here holding it and you feel like a kid on Christmas, that's why you don't have it, because your body does not see that as natural and normal. Is this making sense? Like, are you guys picking this up? This is powerful, powerful, powerful work. So here's what we do. We ground in what we want to feel natural and normal. You can do that with tapping. You can do that with journaling. Like, you can do that in a lot of different ways. I teach tapping. I do in my membership. I have a monthly membership. In my membership, I teach it with tapping and hypnosis and NLP protocols, along with some other like protocols that I've developed. That's how I teach it. And my membership comes with a lot of those types of protocols to help you learn how to make things feel natural and normal in your body, and to really come back to baseline and to come back to like that center grounded, excited feeling, right? And as soon as you get this, things will appear like that, like out of nowhere. It's so powerful. So when is excitement good? Because people will always say, well, you always say don't get excited. And I'm like, no, I'm an excited human. I get excited all the time. I just can't be in a state of excitement all the time. So what happens for me, and when I get excited, is I love to get excited when I'm talking about the things that I love. And that happens naturally. I'm not forcing it. If I love to talk, when I'm talking in conversation with people, I naturally get excited about the things that I love. So why would I not bring that on the internet to hype myself up, to hype people up? That's when you become magnetic. That's when people love it. And listen, if you're not a very excited person, be your magnetic self. My magnetic self is very high energy, very hyper, very like, and that's cool, whatever. If you aren't a very hyper person, that's fine. But how are you when you are magnetic? Start coming up and like coming up, showing up. There we go, showing up online and talking about your offers from this place of like very magnetic energy. And maybe it can be more grounded, but you can feel when people really love what they do. Like, I'm even grounding it right now. People feel when you love what you do. They feel when you have so much like when you know what you bring and you believe 1,000% in your work. People feel that. That's why people literally hire me from literally walking down the street, because they're like, oh, what do you do? And I talk about what I do and they hire me. The other way I get hired a lot is being on podcasts and doing lives and collaborations. Those are a big thing for me. Content tends to be a trip up for me, but that's another conversation for another time. But my point here is to know when to use excitement versus grounded excitement versus not even versus, and then how to become magnetic, like using that to become magnetic to sign on people. And again, magnetic means different for different people, right? So that is something that if you learn how to do this really well and you have the tools to navigate it, and you have a space being held for you to actually practice this and hone this skill and then have the tools to do it, this will change your life and business. And I have so many like people in the membership and so many screenshots, which I'll be sharing on Instagram around this work and that one piece of this work changing people's businesses. Like it's insane. And recently I had somebody like, she was asking me something about, like being in her, which we're going to talk about probably next week, like being in your head about like creating stuff in your business, whether it's offers or price points or whatever, versus being in your body. And what I told her, if being in your body doesn't align, connect back to your heart, because that automatically, if you can align your brain and body, which is really your heart, right? It will automatically allow you to start accessing information that you previously just couldn't see because your brain was flagging it as something that was dangerous or a threat, right? So to recap, if you check in with your money goal and it feels overly sensational, you've got to do work around that. It should feel like the most natural and normal thing. You also have to learn how to become magnetic. And if that's natural for you to be excited, which it is for me, then go there. But you don't have to be excited. I just happen to be an excited human. So for me, I do get excited in my business, but not when I check in with the things that I desire. Does that make sense? I get hyped up about talking about the transformations my humans experience or the work that I do or the programs that I have because I'm so obsessed with them and in love with them. That, like, you can kind of see like that for me, like hyping up, being in this energy, I love it, right? But I do not want to take that energy into my manifestation process. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have questions, let me know. Drop them in the Q&A thread in a heartbeat and let me know how it goes. So much love to you guys. For those of you that are in Money Magic, I'll see you on Thursday. And of course, if you guys have any ideas around topics that you want to hear me riff on, let me know. Abigail does a thread every week around topics that you would like to hear or would like me to do like trainings over. So anyways, go do this. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you guys soon.